Hey folks, Robbie Payne here with Chrome Unbox, coming at you today with an unboxing of the Dell Chromebook 11. Now, I've gotten a lot of messages about this particular device, and I've had some issues trying to get my hands on it, mainly due to the fact that Dell originally intended this device to be used in schools and in the education sector, and then they opened it up to the public briefly, and the demand was pretty high for it, and so they couldn't keep up, so they put it back to the education sector. So you had to go through either getting it off eBay from somebody who's selling it, which I didn't really want to do that because I wanted to be able to return it if need be, or you could get it through a Dell rep, which I obviously don't have. And so it became an issue of getting hold of it in a pretty legitimate way from a retailer so that I could return it upon reviewing it. Turns out, after reading some reviews, there's part of me that's expecting I might keep this as my prime Chromebook. Now, before we get in the box, what we're looking at here is the Chromebook 11, so it's 11.6 inch display. It is the 1366 by 768. It's rocking the Haswell Celeron chip, the 2955U. It's also got 32 gigs of storage in the SSD, and it's also got 4 gigs of RAM. So it's kind of pushing all those spec points that I like in a Chromebook. That I'm going to keep and use on a daily basis for work purposes. So possibly might be actually keeping this guy. So, and I got a hold of it for $300 from Mac Mall. So shout out to them. Thanks for keeping it in stock, getting it to me pretty quickly. And I was just going to kind of let this Chromebook go by the wayside and move on, but I kept seeing things online about how good it was and the quality was so great. And again, the display, I'm not expecting much. It's a TN panel, and they say that off-angle viewing is not great. So I did read some of the reviews that it's decently bright, so I've got my hopes up at least there. And just a quick tidbit, some of you will catch this, some of you won't, and I'm sure I'll get some questions about this. I'm not definitely going to do it, but if I do decide to keep this as my device, I'm looking into the prospect of swapping out the display on this device with the IPS panel from the HP Chromebook 11. All the mounts line up. The difference is you got a 30 pin versus a 40 pin connector, and so I found a thing that can adapt it. I'm not sure if I'm going to take that plunge yet. We'll see. If I do, obviously I'll videotape it and we'll put it on here. Hopefully it's not an epic failure if I do end up doing that. But for the time being, let's just get into this guy. And so the reviews that I've read through pretty decent sized places, The Verge, Engadget, those type of places. I think OMG Chrome did a review as well. I can't remember now. But everybody seemed to be relatively pleased with the device overall, and so I kind of got my hopes up a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't do that. I don't know. Let's see here in the box over on the side. Let's take a guess. Charging ports and stuff. So pretty decent sized charger. Nothing tiny, but unique looking, so it's kind of neat. That's a really neat feature right there. The cord coming out of it actually is already an L shape, so it's flush and then can be wrapped immediately. So I don't know how crazy I am. That's a pretty tight hug there, but I try to keep my cords from doing that. I've had a lot of laptops where the cord comes out and I've bent it around and wrapped it, and over time that connection there fails, and so that's really not a good thing. It's kind of nice to see a full-size adapter here. The little ones always make me suspect that they're going to fall apart. So that's kind of cool. You can wrap it, and then it's got the little clip. So I'm always a fan of charging peripherals being a little more than just whatever they can throw together. These parts obviously are always the same, so it's just your generic charging cable. So let's get to the meat and potatoes here. Here it is. See, there's some documentation in here. Yeah, whatever. Warranty, getting started. You guys know how I feel about getting started. Papers on Chromebooks, really need them. So open this guy up. Again, this is the first time I'm laying my eyes on this device. I've never seen it in the store or in anybody's hands or anything. Weight-wise, it's got some heft. It's not. I wouldn't consider it light. We'll say that. And it's not the thinnest Chromebook in the world. I mean, you can kind of tell that from the side. There's USB. We know how thick those are. So this isn't the thinnest thing in the world, but it's also not. It doesn't feel terribly chunky. In the review, I'll put it up next to the C720p, for instance, and I don't have my hands on the Chromebook HP 14. I might be able to get that back, and then the Chromebook 13 as well. I'll try to at least get you side by sides with those. Let's see here. We got an SD card slot that fits flush, which is nice. A lot of times we don't see that on the smaller ones. Kensington lock. Nothing across the back except the hinge. Full-size HDMI. 2 3.0 USB ports, which is awesome. Combo headphone microphone jack, and full-size charging. We have the speakers, which, again, I haven't heard these yet. I've seen some reviews that say that they're not too bad. The speakers kind of being on that slight tilt will probably help them project, especially if it's on your lap. And you've kind of got, instead of the nubbed feet, you got these kind of bars for feet. So very industrial, but very nice look. It looks good. It looks probably a little higher price than it actually is. And inside, same kind of look too. Not a lot of flex to the keyboard, a little bit. Kind of expect that across the board. The bezel is a little bit large. It almost looks like they could have squeezed a 12-inch screen in here with the exact same form factor. But because of that, it's got a really nice wide keyboard. Keys feel really good. Travel feels really good, real clicky. A lot of times on these smaller ones, you get a little bit of mushiness to the keyboard, or the keys, you don't feel that click and then release. That's kind of what I'm talking about there. And these have a very nice travel. They feel very good. Trackpad has a slight bit of texture to it, as does the inside of the body. Almost a rubberized plastic. So it has a soft touch feel to it. That's kind of continued from the outside. The outside's not as rubberized. It's the kind of a matte finish plastic back here, whereas inside here on the palm rest, it's definitely rubberized, which feels real nice. The trackpad actually feels very similar to the material used on the outside. So a very slight texture to it, but it doesn't feel, it's not trying to feel like glass or anything like that. Click is nice, it's solid sounding, which is always good. It's annoying when the trackpad has really hollow clicks to it. Very good. So, as always, we'll plug this guy in real quick, get you just some first thoughts on the screen, first thoughts maybe on some audio. We'll see if it's got to update Chrome or anything like that. I'm not going to put you through looking at that. Give me just a second. Plug it in. Kind of a fun touch. There is an LED around here that when it's giving power, it's actually lit up. So nice little touch there. It's going to go ahead and start up for me. Screen is very reflective. You can probably, yeah, you can see that on the camera. Very reflective. I mean, it's just part of TN panels, you know. It doesn't bother me. I don't mind reflective screens because I really don't care for the reflective or the anti-glare on the screen. Mainly because it makes a poor resolution look even worse. So I'm not a fan of that at all. Let's get in here and see if we're going to have to upgrade. So if it's going to have to upgrade, I'm not going to do that on camera right now. Let's crank the brightness up while it's doing it. And the brightness honestly is fighting off that glare a little bit. Again, yeah, it's a TN panel. What are you going to say? They're not great. Viewing angles left to right, not too bad. Let's see if you can kind of get that. But obviously when we go top to bottom, completely polarized there and polarized a little bit there. So not great, but honestly it's serviceable. I guess for me, I end up plugging into a monitor all the time, so it doesn't bother me that bad. But like I said before, I'm going to attempt to replace this monitor if I can. We'll see. We'll see if I get brave enough to try that. But overall, like I said, the feel, it feels solid. I mean, the device just feels really good. and it looks really good. It looks really clean. The lines are nice. The trackpad is not jittery. It feels very good. In performance, obviously, we're going to see very similar performance to the HP 14. We're going to see similar performance to the Acer C720 with the 4 gigs of RAM. So I'm not really that concerned about how it's going to perform. I'm sure it's going to perform quite nicely. That's interesting. Still waiting for things to sync up. But anyway, that's kind of first blush. Good looking device, and based on performance and honestly, if I can get that screen replaced, I'll be pretty excited about this device because everything other than the screen looks like it's pretty good. It's taking its time syncing everything up. Here comes some stuff. Let me give you a sample of music real quick if I can get it to load up. Hear how loud these speakers are. That wasn't much to go on, was it? Granted, it's updating everything else right now, so probably getting bumped. Oh man, that's not what I meant to do. Yeah, they're loud. They're not going to win any awards for sound quality, but I can't remember a laptop that I've expected that from in the last few years. It's not what I buy laptops for, but they're loud. So like conference call, hangout kind of stuff, you're not going to have to worry about volume. So that's a good thing. So again, here we are with a Chromebook that seems to check almost everything off the list, and we kind of have a subpar display. But like I said, I'm doing some more research. I'm going to grab some parts and I'm going to attempt, I think, to change out the display because I think this device with a nice IPS panel like the HP has on it would really be a nice package. Especially the displays cost about 60 to 70 bucks. So if I can get that to work out, you're talking under $400 in this thing, and you pretty much have all the things ticked off. Probably until the next generation of Chromebooks start to come out with Core M processors. So I've talked enough about it. That's kind of first look, first impressions, hands-on. I will be back with a review within a week to 10 days or so, and let you know if I'm going to keep this guy and he's going to stick around, or if it's going to go back in the mail. So until next time, guys, thanks. If you like this video and want to see more like it, hit the thumbs up, subscribe. The more subscribers and more likes I get, the more chance I'm going to get to continue doing these kind of reviews and these kind of unboxings. And so I enjoy doing it. I hope you enjoy watching it. Guys, have a great day. See you next time.